Well, Shane Warne has taken centre stage for a final time as the sporting great was given a heartfelt, emotional and at times funny send-off at his state memorial at his beloved MCG last night. And joining me live now is the MC of the event, Warnie's great mate, Eddie McGuire. Eddie, good morning to you. I, like so many others, laughed, cried and was just glued to it for 2.5 hours. How do you think it all went?
I agree with you, Pete. I was the same, hosting it and, writing and being involved in the production, and it just came together seamlessly. It was almost like Warnie was conducting the orchestra, wasn't it? The weather was great, the stand looked magnificent, the people were there, it had the fun of the fair, the solemnity of a memorial. His children were just magnificent. Somebody said afterwards that was the best hat-trick that Shane Warne has ever taken, his kids. And it was everything we hoped it would be. As you said, the laughter. I mean, the panels were great because that's what Warnie was all about. He was the knockabout guy. He was funny. He would have been up there himself cracking gags. And there was enough feeling through it. And then people like Chris Martin and laughing about the fact there was a rooster in the background and how it reminded him of Warnie and things like that. And then singing his heart out to his mate and Robbie Williams and Ed Sheeran, Elton John, but Anthony Calea's rendition of the prayer. Wow, how emotional was that? And then, of course, the unfurling of the Great Southern Stand becoming the Shane Warne Stand. Yeah, look, we're really proud. It was a wonderful night.
Yeah, you mentioned his family there. I mean, it was his brother, his dad, and obviously his kids there. Did they give you a message afterwards, Eddie, about what they thought of it all?
Yeah, they were delighted. They really wanted to say thank you to everybody, and at the same time, it's been 3 weeks. They've had so much going on. I mean, when you take into consideration, Pete, that their father, who was a picture of health, when he got on that plane, you heard Summer, who she drove him basically to the airport. Everything was fine. He came around to get a suitcase, standard procedure, off to get fit, get even fitter, and get ready for the northern summer. And then, of course, the sudden death, which rocked everybody. And then you go to the situation you had. At one stage we weren't sure whether the body would be repatriated for up to 3 months because of protocols and COVID and things. And then they had that German woman who appeared out of nowhere and jumping into the back of the ambulance, which caused great distress for the family. Then the plane arrives in, and that starts again. You have to go and find the body, view the body, all the procedures that happened there, the funeral, the burial, and then 10 days build-up and a huge media build-up to last night. So there was an enormous amount of pressure on that family, but they wanted to thank people who, by and large, I mean, there's been a couple of paps around the place, but by and large, everybody was fantastic as far as the media was concerned and the general public and their love. So they wanted to do the right thing, and I just thought they were magnificent last night. They were just great. 3 Aussie kids getting up, their hearts breaking for their dad,
No, as I was watching that, tears rolling down my eyes, Eddie, and you brought up the musical guests there, some of the most famous musical guests in the world. Just for our viewers, can you explain how that process came about? Was it difficult to get them on board?
No, well, the only thing about getting them on board that was hard was they all wanted to get on board a plane to fly from the other side of the world to be in Melbourne last night, and they just couldn't do it. I mean, from the COVID situations and the technicalities, and don't forget, these performers haven't been out for 2 years, so as soon as the doors open, away they went. Chris Martin was in Costa Rica, Elton was in the United States, Ed was in Europe somewhere, and Robbie Williams arrived in Switzerland and set all that up, I think, in his hotel room. So, it was quite amazing. But, yeah, you have a look at it. I'll give you an example. Chris Martin wrote an instrumental called The Eulogy and sent that over in audio form, which is, we just thought that was fantastic. Wow, thank you for that, for the funeral. Then the next night we get this, the video with him with the candles and the horn section, and he's, tightened it up a little bit. He's done these great things. Then he does another one for us for last night, and then he goes out and sings Yellow because the family said, look, that's what Warnie would love. I mean, he was doing more songs for our show than he was doing on stage in Costa Rica, and doing it and organising it and doing it with absolute love as well, and with, a little bit of banter, and that's what we love. Robbie's intro, Ed's heartfelt situation. And Elton actually stopped in the middle of a big concert in America and explained to the US crowd, this is what we're doing, this is who this guy is. And they were whooping and hollering, the Americans, about who this guy was. By the way, Elton explained what cricket was, but who Shane was as a world person. And he said, quite rightly said, if they played cricket here, this guy would be bigger than anyone in American sport. And he would have. And as a result of that, then he broke into song, and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. And you saw that the set that was in America with Warnie's face, and the photos of Elton and Warnie with all those kids was just spectacular. And we sometimes forget that Warnie was bigger. I reckon was nearly bigger overseas than he was here, and that's saying something. But we got a bit of a taste for it last night, that he was an international citizen, and also that the world loved him. And I just think it was wonderful that while we're in our own backyard in the magnificent MCG, which is world class and world famous, that we're actually able to see the coming together of the international world and our local love for Warnie as we said goodbye to him. I hope someone up there could see that and just realise how much he was loved.
Yeah, it was perfect, just about, Eddie, and you did a great job too. Well done putting it all together, and thank you for your time this morning and sharing your thoughts with us. Appreciate that. That's Eddie McGuire live for us this morning. He was, of course, the MC last night. Thanks, Eddie.